that whole situation with Deshaun Watson. He was sacked 6 times today, and he was he was pressured about probably about 10. So I ain't gonna put it all on him there. Will he was under
Oh
he
yeah,
was
but the
under
whole team, like I
duress.
feel like they ain't rally for him. I feel
Yeah,
like nobody, and they say they
true.
love him.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Top Shelf Tuesday edition, we review Week 1 of the NFL season. Segment 1, best, worst, and most surprising. Segment 2, stories of the week. In segment 3, we talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. With us today, Captain for Life, Will Cotton. Will, what was the best thing you saw today, sir?
I saw a couple things that I liked, but the best thing that I liked was the Houston versus Indianapolis game. Great game. A lot of people didn't expect to be it's going to be a blowout, but Houston kind of did what they had to do as the better team. Never let the Colts getting close. I mean, they get close, but they never exceed or catch a lead.
Well, Will, they got close enough for me, myself.
Yeah,
so.
they got close. Yeah, but that was probably the best thing, man. And the team looked good. Stroud looked good. Mixon looked good. Diggs had 2 touchdowns. Let's go Texans.
All right. An academic and athletic consultant for the CK Save Project, George Awkward. What did you like? What was the best thing you saw today?
The return of the running back. We had more teams going ground and pound today. You had a number of 100-yard rushes today. I think I know San Diego, and I know Will hates to hear this, but San Diego got their running game off shoot. Had 100 yards and off like 7 carries in that game today. So yeah, the return of the running back, because you saw a lot of ground and pound today.
All right, and George is dating himself because he can't say Los Angeles Chargers.
Okay, whatever. San Diego, same thing.
Staying with you, what was the worst thing you saw today?
The Cincinnati Bengals. What the hell? Well, I'm going to chalk this up as the first game. Hopefully this thing's going to pick up, but they looked inept. It was a real tie between them and the Pittsburgh Steelers offensively, but I had to go with Cincinnati. Cincinnati was I don't know what's going on. I hope this thing gets better as the season goes, but it was atrocious.
God, man, what was the worst thing you saw today?
Oh, for my man Mike King, Daniel Jones was the worst thing I saw. It was terrible. He played awful. They hyped him up, and the worst thing is they gave him the HBO, Hard Knocks joint, which means it hypes everything up, man. It could be Mayweather fights, it could be anything. They make you believe, man. And I know they had Giants fans believing. And man, the dude had he had worse yards than Sam Darnold. And he had 2 interceptions. He had a couple runs that just looked bad. And I'm like, are you trying to be somebody else like Josh Allen or, because I see Josh Allen got these runs and I'm like, okay, they're back in the flow. And I see Daniel Jones get it. I'm like, that look like a broken play. I know that ain't no real play. I ain't know that real play. But yeah, that's probably the worst thing I saw, man. I thought it was going to be a bad game, but I didn't think it was like 28-6 whooping at home kind of thing. So, dang.
All right. God, man, I'm going to stay with you. What is the most surprising thing you saw today?
I don't want to seem insensitive, but from my understanding, I just saw Deshaun Watson, his father passed away recently.
Mm-hmm.
So rest in peace and condolence to the Watson family. And I gotta think he had much more oomph in his play. Maybe I'm coming from an era where I was young, and when I heard
you saw Brett Favre on Monday Night Football,
and he threw 500 yards, and when somebody father or mother something happened in college, they go 200 yards rushing and things like that. And I was thinking, man, like even thinking to myself. Now again, I'm not an elite athlete, but I'm thinking like, man, like how would I turn into my sport? How focused I would be, how locked in. And it was just disappointing to see. And that's pretty much the biggest thing. I know he's going through a thing emotionally, but I thought that there was going to be a lot bigger that shows on the field, and I was a little disappointed with that.
Okay, George, what was the most surprising thing you saw today, sir?
Well, let me talk real quick with that whole situation with Deshaun Watson. He was sacked 6 times today, and he was he was pressured about probably about 10. So I ain't gonna put it all on him there. Will he was under?
Oh
He
yeah,
was
but the
under
whole team,
duress.
like I feel like they ain't rally for him. I feel
Yeah.
like nobody, and they say
True.
they love him. They changed his structure in his contract so he can stay here. But
True. But
I know man, if it was like Fowlerin, you know what I'm saying, or if it was Brookins or somebody, and this was in high school, man, it's a bad night to play us. It's a bad night. You might as well just go ahead and get some rest.
Right. I understand. My surprise was Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings. God, where the hell did that come from? We spent the last month talking about how bad it was going to be in Minnesota, and they look like they ready to party. So the Minnesota Vikings might be something to talk about later on. We're gonna see. It's week one. We're gonna see. But for 1 week, they get my little crown for the week. They get my crown for the week.
It's good to have football back. Okay. Fans, when we get back in segment 2, we'll do our power rankings and talk about the stories of the week. And we do have a story in Miami I think we'll dive into. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Safe Project, with a question for you. Are you passionate about supporting student athletes? If so, then become an official member of the CKA Safe Project and make a difference today. With your membership, you'll be able to help us provide essential academic and athletic support to underserved communities nationwide. Join us in empowering student athletes to achieve their full potential, both on and off the field. Together, we can build a brighter future through education and sports. Visit ckasafeproject.org and choose your membership level now. $25 is a bronze level membership, $50 is a silver level membership, and $100 is a gold level membership. Be a part of the change. Become a member of the CKA Safe Project today. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 2. Let's do our power rankings. So for me, and Codman and George will correct me, I still have Kansas City as number 1, San Francisco's number 2, and fans, remember we tape Sunday night, so we don't do the Sunday night game or the Monday game, but Fowler believes San Francisco is going to win. I got the Eagles at 3. I got Detroit at 4. And I'm going to get ripped for this because I did it prior to seeing how bad they looked. I had Buffalo at 5 going into this with Atlanta on the outside looking in. That's wrong. Green Bay should be there. Miami and Houston. So, Will, give me a better 5 than what I had going into week 1.
Going into week 1, I like everything except Buffalo. You can get rid of Buffalo and you can add either Houston or Miami. Either one, I'm cool with that.
What? Houston or Miami?
Go right ahead, sir.
All right. I'm getting rid of. We got to pull Buffalo out. And honestly, I'm going to put the Cowboys in there right now, and that's just not just because that's my team, but. Look, Dak got his contract, got his bag, and came out and just looked comfortable as hell. And like I told you before, Zeke has never met a short yardage he couldn't make, which he got, and so he made all of them, and that defense looked ready to rock and roll. So I know there's going to be lulls in the season, but the Cowboys look like they're going to play if this keeps up. Also on there. Green Bay should be in there. I'm a little iffy with Green Bay right now with
Malik Willis, baby. Malik Willis. Liberty.
With Love getting hurt, that puts a real damper on everything.
That hurts. Yeah.
I mean, that really hurts, and it's it's almost heartbreaking because Green Bay was set up to have a good season. The one thing it will do though, it will throw gas on that fire for that Cowboys Eagles game that's going to come because already they hate each other, and I hope both of them are still playing great when we get there. So we're going to see.
All right. So we had other stories of the week, but when we turned on pregame, we found out that Tyreek Hill was not arrested, but was detained by the Miami-Dade County Police Department. George, any initial reaction to the detainment, sir? What are your thoughts on the detainment?
I'm going to keep my comments as saying I want to keep us on the air. So I want to say that it is very unfortunate. I think that at times police officers take their job over the top. Let's just put it like that. That's what I'm going to say. There's leeway that needs to be given for an athlete, that especially the best player on your team, trying to get to his office, and they're there because of his performance. So that's what I'm gonna say. It's very disheartening, disappointing that whole situation went down the way it did.
All right, Cotton Man. Any thoughts on the detainment, sir?
Oh, I think, George said it very eloquently, but I'll take it a different kind of perspective. These dudes go do everything for social, man. These dudes do everything for social. It's not outside the realm that he staged any of that. Because I'm just saying, it just looks, I was looking at the video, here's the guy, you're 20, they're like 4 or 5 blocks from the stadium. You got a Ferrari.
He's a blocker.
You know who it is. And then all of a sudden you pull him out the car, you cuff him up, you throw him on the ground. It gets people riled up early. Kind of like one of those like Jordan, like give me a reason, like maybe I didn't make the traffic light, maybe I make the yellow, and I took that personal. One of those things. But you can never not say that. People are doing other things for the social media, man. So I'm just gonna take another fun spin on that by that one.
All right, so go ahead, George.
I'm about to say he was a block away. This was more. I got this under the same category as Scotty Scheffler, except for it had more. Let's say it had more meat to it because we had people seeing the whole thing and the circumstances that were involved. So that I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
So, Will, I've got to ask you, you have a unique perspective because you played for me and you know of my disdain for any distractions. Tyreek Hill has done things in the locker room in his own life that's provided distraction. As a former team captain, do you get mad at him, not necessarily for his treatment in this situation, but it always seems to be something going on. When do you, as the team captain, pull him to the side and say, yo, can we have a little more boring? What do you think about that, sir?
It always about like that relationship that you have with that person. I've been in a locker room where I've been seen as a leader, and there was another person who was not playing they should have been or doing things they should have been doing outside of the game. And, I didn't feel like I should have said anything, some things like that. But there are other situations like our basketball team, we were much more inclusive. We had a much closer relationship with everybody on the team, especially, I love my guy, Lou Brookins, you know what I'm saying? There's certain things that I say, Lou, let's not go to this party. Lou, hey man, I'm calling it a night, man. I don't know where y'all going, but let's go to a kill house. You know what I'm saying? So there are things that just the relationship. I feel like there's Dolphin teammates who love Tyreek Hill. He seems like he's a nice guy. Everyone he's on socials, he's with kids and he's doing all kinds of foundations and he's having fun. He's trying to change his image. That's good. So, but it just depends on who he is in the locker room and if they really rob him. You know what I'm saying? And I think based on the performance and based on what happened, they really ride with him and they like the guy, and that's what it comes back to, but if he's not liked or not, just a good player, but he's not very personable, like then, it becomes like, well, if you mess up, it's on you, bro. Like, I ain't got nothing for you. So, or I'm not going to play hard.
George, you're my athletic director. On the athletic director side, you had awesome relationships with your student athletes. Again, this was a horrible situation that should never have happened. But on the flip side, man, he's busy sometimes. What do you think about that from your AD hat, sir?
You got to coach kids. You got to coach kids differently. Each kid differently. You have some players that are just, they're gonna be different, and you're big, and you're gonna have to treat them differently. And there's some things that you're gonna have to. There's his line might be in a different spot than other people's line because that's just how he is. I mean, the perfect example of this is the Bulls with Rodman. Rodman is not going to walk that fine line like you wish all your players would come in, walk the straight and narrow and go. But it's usually your most important, not always your best, but your most important. Those keeper is the one that's going to walk off to the left all the time. And you have to have parameters in place that work with him and work with their personality, because that's just how they are. And you have to accept them for who they are. And that's going to make a better him, and it's going to make a better team. And the team understands that. The team, how many teams you've had that you've been that you've been on that you sat and you be like, oh, there goes Billy again. Yep, real Billy back. We got real Billy back in, or Billy did this, and you got to give him leeway, and you have to investigate the entire situation and to find out exactly what took place, because Billy's going to be in the middle of it. So those things, these things come. They come with some great players come with baggage, and it's just
They start with I was minding my business.
Yep.
And you've been a part of those conversations.
Yeah. And sometimes they were, and a lot of times they were just minding their business, but it was how they were minding their business. That's you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I did want to bring up, we're now in week 1, and there's a lot of injuries taking place. And George, you're my football guy. They're scared to play him in the preseason. Will knows I don't like playing guys in the preseason, but you've got to play the sport to get ready to play the sport. Any thoughts on all of these early season injuries? Are we too cautious with these guys, George?
It doesn't matter what we do. People going to get hurt. You got a contact sport. They're going to get hurt. It's unavoidable because you don't know, you don't know. People can feel great to buy, and there could still be some weakness somewhere. Who knows? And you don't know how somebody's going to fall. You don't know what's going to happen. Hell, Dallas just was sitting there watching. Dallas just lost the tight end. I'm guaranteeing you it was a torn ACL. The way he went down. So they're going to get hurt. So there's no way around it. You try your best to prevent it, whether it's with in the preseason with these they get the contact. You got the cold tubs, you got the pre-treatment, you got everything, but it still happens. I mean, I'm crushed with the Jordan Love situation because I think the world of this kid, and I thought Green Bay had the chance to do something, be real special this year. So, these things happen as part of the game. And, like they said, availability is availability.
Number one ability is availability.
Best ability you can have.
So, next man got to step up just to keep us where we in contention. That's where it is.
All right. So, fans, in segment 3, we will talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. And thanks to those Cowboys in Dallas, I'm slightly entertained. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. This is Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project and author of Finding the Balance, my personal journey to academic and athletic success. This book is your key to unlocking the secrets of being a successful student athlete. Drawing from my 30-year career as a teacher and coach, this instructional guide offers a unique perspective on achieving success in both academics and athletics. With over 15 personal stories and insightful anecdotes, Finding the Balance is a must-read for student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators. Visit www.ckasafeproject.org to get your copy and start finding the balance today. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 3. My favorite segment of the week, strictly for entertainment purposes only. So we got our season-long bets. AFC North, I'm rocking with Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Baltimore took an L, okay. NFC North, I'm rolling with Detroit and Green Bay. We'll see what happens with that. AFC South, Jacksonville and Tennessee. I'm taking the under with Tennessee, though, so I think I'm going to be okay with that. NFC South, Atlanta, terrible today. And Carolina, it's my fault, Will. I won't even yell at you. I took the over 5.5. What was I thinking?
Well,
I keep thinking this kid's going to do well.
The kid's line is worse than Colorado. We told you in the prelims.
All right, AFC East. I got Miami under 10 wins, and I got Buffalo over 11. I think I'm going to lose both of those. NFC East, Washington over 6.5. They looked really bad today, but Dallas over 9.5 looks pretty good for the season. And in the AFC West, I've got Denver under 5.5. Great job. I've got Vegas under 6.5. I'm sure they'll continue to provide assistance. And then we've got the Rams over. And I told you about Arizona. They didn't get the Duke, but we'll see what happens with that. All right. So now for this week, my Super 7, I have Buffalo minus 6.5 over Arizona. I believe they won by 6. I don't like that. Okay. My 2 play was Indy +3 and Minnesota minus 1.5. I got that. My 3 play, Tampa Bay minus 3.5, Atlanta minus 2.5, and Miami minus 3. Atlanta let me down, and I still don't know what happened with that. George, my 4 play, New Orleans, Cincinnati, Buffalo, Seattle. Can't get safer than that. And as you said in segment 1, Cincinnati, what are you doing? I had Pittsburgh over 41.5, Pittsburgh and Atlanta. That guy kicked like 7 field goals, Will. What are you doing? Can somebody get the end zone?
Ugliest, one of the ugliest games ever. Pittsburgh's offensive coordinator needs. Well, let's just put it like this: they better give the game ball to T.J. Watt.
It was balling
because Pittsburgh looked terrible on offense. God.
I had Chicago under 43.5. They took care of business, and Dallas was my upset of the week. Now I didn't think they was going to do that to Cleveland, but I'll take it. George, did you do anything this week strictly for entertainment purposes only?
No. I got, like I told y'all, I wait a week to see exactly what's going to happen. You know, I got to get a feel of things first because I know there's a couple that Cincinnati would have cost me some money this week. And that in Atlanta might have cost me some money because God, Pittsburgh has no outside of that defensive front. They looked terrible, and then you got your boy Kirk Cousins.
There will be no Kirk Cousins slander on the OCP.
Handed another game away. So
absolutely criminal.
So we'll see which way we go next week.
Cotton Man, did you do anything strictly for entertainment purposes only?
Oh yeah, Friday I hit nicely, little $100. After that, got close on some things, but I got some more money to indulge this weekend.
You know, $100 would be like 6 weeks of bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Cotton Man, you called Philly over Green Bay?
Yeah, I took the over. I took the
points. Okay.
I took the spread. I took 2 anytime touchdown for AJ and Saquon, and then I took 200 yards both for Love and Hurts.
Okay.
So
that's too complicated for me.
Yeah.
And we'll be looking for a lovely donation to the CKA fund. All right, next week we got Buffalo, Miami, Giants, and Washington. So we'll see if King and Bobby will be on the show next week. One may be, the other one won't. Chargers versus Panthers. Cleveland, Jacksonville. Cleveland can't go 0-2, can they?
Yeah.
Vegas coming to town to play Baltimore. Sean Sears, shout out to him. Cincinnati versus Kansas City. That was a game of interest. Chicago versus Houston, and Atlanta versus Philly. Will any game next week catch your interest?
Bills Dolphins looks good. I'll definitely check that joint out. After that, I mean, I'll check out the Lions, Bucks, Bears, Texans look good, and I'll watch I think it looks good, and it may be good. Falcons, Eagles. As long as I can get a lot of points, that should be a good game as well. So I got a couple things I'll check out. And then you got Burrow versus Mahomes.
That ain't a game.
I mean, it's not.
I mean, it's fun. It looks fun on the paper, but it don't look good. It don't look good for real.
No prime time, right?
George, any games next week catch your interest?
Bills Dolphins, because they're playing in Miami, so Tua can continue to throw those lollipops. Chargers are going to dismantle the Panthers. That I don't even know how many points you're going to get with that situation. Big one. I want to see. Would make it interesting now is that 49ers Vikings game, because I want to see what if the Vikings show up 2 weeks in a row. So that one's going to be worthwhile. And then just for the money situation, that Washington and New York one, because I'm looking at the prop bet right now, how many interceptions Danny Dimes going to throw. Yeah. I want to see how many.
He didn't play very well today.
And I'm talking about for the whole season. I hope I can catch that he's going to throw double-digit interceptions for a season, because I will take that one real quick, because Danny Dimes, or as our friend calls him, Danny Pennies.
Yeah, Danny Penny.
All right. So, fans, on behalf of our Cavalcade of Stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and watching the Odd Coaches podcast. And we will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.